I'm in Shenandoah National Park, and this is the Thornton River Trailhead. There's the signpost up there by Skyline Drive. There's my little red car. And this is the parking area for the trailhead. Skyline Drive's up there. And we're gonna head over here to the signpost and start descending down towards the Thornton River. And this is just a regular hike down to the river and back up. The elevation here is 2360. On the Thornton River Trail, descending down into the hollow. Up near Skyline Drive, there was a lot of deer activity. I took a few still pictures. It looked like there must have been a deer trail there crossing over Skyline Drive, because there was a lot of deer moving around up there. There's an old rusted out hulk of a vehicle down here. Another 3 or 4/10 of a mile. When I get there, I'll stop and take a few pictures. .1 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 1,790 feet. That's where I came from. And stopping here because here's where the old rusted out car is. Or maybe it's a truck, I'm not sure. Maybe somebody can tell. There's nothing left of it except for the body parts. The engine and drivetrain and all that are gone. But I'll take a few still pictures and then I'm going to continue on. Now I'm still descending, but it won't be long before I have to cross the Thornton River. This this trail crosses it a number of times, so when I put the video together, maybe I'll number the crossings or something. But anyway, I'm going to continue on this way, but first I'll get a few still pictures of this old rusted out vehicle. Note to myself, I'm 1.3 miles into my hike. I'm down to 1,740 feet. And I marked this location, Old Crossing number 2. And according to my GPS, waypoint GS9 which is over this way on the Grove and Spittler property, GS number 9, is about 350 feet from here and a bearing of about 239 degrees, which is in that direction. So it's possible that this was the old road, and it's kind of down here in a swampy area, so it's over the last 100 years it's probably turned itself into a drainage ditch. I'll have to come back sometime in the winter and hike up here a little ways and see if I can find any more of it a little higher up. Note to myself, I'm 1.4 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 1,720 feet. And I'm calling this Old Crossing 3. This is some stonework, and this looks like it might have been a road crossing over the headwaters right here. So I'm going to compare this to some of the old maps when I get home. This is about almost 400 feet away from a stone wall that I'll show you when I get down here. But this looks like a crossing. Here's the trail heading downstream. Now I can't see anything over here at the moment, but that is definitely armored up there, and then this slopes right down to the creek. So .5 miles into my hike, I'm down to 1,705 feet, and I'm at a spot where I'm starting to notice more and more. That's where I came from. Starting to notice more and more stonework. Here's part of a rock wall right here. Actually, I passed a couple of other bits and pieces, but here's one right here, part of a wall. And it looks like it heads on down that way to the right. And then on this side, there's more on the other side here. It's not nearly as tall though. But then again, I would call this the upper side, and over here is the lower side. The river's right behind here, the headwaters of the Thornton River. So we're going to be crossing that pretty soon. .5 miles into my hike, I'm down to 1,690 feet. And here's my first river crossing. These are the headwaters of the Thornton River. That's upstream. And here's downstream. So from here on, this old trail is gonna, there it is crossing over. That's where I'm headed. So from here on, this trail is going to roughly follow the path of the Thornton River downstream. .3 miles into my hike, I'm down to 1,420 feet. Here's the, I think this is the second crossing. That's looking downstream. That's the trail continued, that's where I'm headed. Got some rocks you can tippy-toe across when it's not real high. And then there's looking upstream. 2.5 miles into my hike, I'm down to 1,370 feet. I got to cross the river one more time, I think, to get over. My turnaround point's about another quarter of a mile down the trail here. There's a nice spot down here for camping. If I can get back in there, I'll show you that. But anyway, this is a pretty substantial rock wall right here. I'm going to mark this location. I've been down here before, but I don't think I ever noticed this one. Need to come down here in the wintertime and just kind of take inventory of all these rock walls. That one's probably 5 to 6 feet high. Anyway, this is downstream. Eventually going to cross over one more time, I think, and then I'll start looking for the little campsite. I brought my day hammock, so I might set it up and take a load off my feet for a little while. .6 miles into my hike, I'm down to 1,330 feet. And this is, I think, my third crossing of the Thornton River. That's looking downstream. There's the road continuing on. That's where I'm headed. It's getting wider here. I don't know if you can see this, but it's definitely getting wider with more flow. That's looking upstream. Now this looks like a feeder stream coming down, but I think this was the road on this side coming down, because up that way are some stone walls. I think the road came down here, crossed over at an angle, and went up the other side right there. And then over the years, this has eroded away into just basically a drainage ditch. And then over there was probably more of a sloped bank, but now over the years it's all eroded away. So I got a little climb when I get over there. .7 miles into my hike, I'm down to 1,320 feet. The Thornton River's right over there. I just crossed over it back there. That's where I came from. And I'm pretty sure that where this tree is leaning over, the back in here, I think, is where the camping spot was that I knew from years gone by. So I'm going to push on back in here. If it is, I may set up my day hammock and take a load off for a few minutes, because it's a pretty good hike back up to my car. Yeah, so this is it right here. It's cleared out. The trail is back there. You got big rocks to sit on. It's a cleared out spot there. This area in through here is pretty cleared out. See that? Got some trees back there. I might set my hammock up over there, or maybe over here. So this is one of 2 or 3 that are down here. This one's the nicest one though. Alrighty, I got my day hammock up. See that? I'm suspending it from the trees using my mule tape technique. Here's the other end of it. That's kind of a skinny tree, but it's strong enough for this. Normally I take off my hiking boots and stuff, but I'm not going to today because I got my waterproof boots on, I got my short gaiters on, I got my long pants on, and I'm just going to sit here long enough to eat some peanut butter crackers and drink some water, and then I'm going to have to start heading back up, because it's like, I don't know, it's at least 1,000-foot climb back up to my car. So I'm just going to take a little rest here. Pretty nice though, there's a lot of tall trees. Lots of trees and shade. I can hear the Thornton River over there behind me. So, and oh well, may as well get up here for a second. So this is my typical day setup. I've got some parachute cord that I use to, that black parachute cord, and I use that to hang my day pack. There's my Spot Gen 4 blinking away, sending a message out to let people know I'm doing okay. That's a ENO single nest. It's got am steel loops on it, the blue am steel. And then this is the 2,500 pound mule tape. They use that to pull big wires through conduits and stuff. But it's kind of slippery, but it works fine for this. So let's see, I hooked it up with, gosh, I don't even remember, some kind of hitch. I'll have to look it up when I get home. Real easy to do though. So anyway, that's the setup. And like I said earlier, there's 2 or 3 more of these sites, although this is the biggest one and the nicest one. Out that way's the trail and the river. Note to myself, I repositioned waypoint Thornton 2, the campsite, so that it's so that the waypoint's out here on the trail. This is a map of today's hike. The quadrangle name is Thornton Gap, 1994, and the purpose of the hike was to hike a regular trail. This green one here, it's called the Thornton River Trail. You park here at there's a parking lot here at the Thornton River Trailhead. This is mile marker 25. It's over on the east side here of the Skyline Drive. Park here. You'll see the signpost for the trail. Get on the trail, and it's just a steady descent all the way down to the river. Now when you get to here, coming down off to the left, you'll see in the weeds the remains of an old car. Now once you get past the car, things start to flatten out because you're getting very close to the river. Now here, I'm going to go back some in the wintertime because this map is showing a cutoff trail, this yellow one, that goes up to this ridge line up here. I can't see this from Google Earth wintertime photos, but these maps are usually pretty accurate. So I'll go back in the wintertime sometime and try and bushwhack this up to here and then either come back or go around a loop. Anyway, once you get past here, I put little tick marks to show where the river crossings are. There's one here. There's one here. And there's one here. After you make this third crossing, you come up a steep embankment and then look off to the right, and you'll see this tree leaning over at about a 45-degree angle right next to the trail. If you push back in there, it used to be clear down here, but it's not anymore. You push back in there behind that tree that's bent over at 45 degrees, and you'll find the camp spot back here. And then just further downstream, there's a couple of more down here before you get to this intersection right here. So once I got to here, I set up my day hammock, rested up a little bit, and then back up to my car. Now, starting about here, as you hike along here, you'll notice old roads and stone walls and stuff like that. So I haven't had a chance to explore all those different walls and things to see how big they are. Some of them are pretty big. There's one down in this area here that I show that's maybe 6 feet of stacked stone, 6 feet tall. Anyway, ended up being 5.5 miles with a total ascent of 1087. And that was the hike for today.